Hi guys, Ian here, aka Ahura Mantra. Welcome to my channel and to another video. And today I just wanted to kind of talk about and make a video response to a video that I saw this morning on the channel of someone I subscribe to, a lady called Andulairah of Earth. So if you don't know Andulairah, then I would really recommend you check out her channel, because she is an amazing lady with lots of insights about many things. Anyway, Andulairah's video this morning or yesterday was entitled "How Lonely Am I in the World?" And in it she talked about how she experienced being in a very busy city for a while after living in the outbacks and the very remote places of Australia, where she currently lives. And I had been thinking about something very similar, about how my life had changed over the last few years and how it was different, but how I wasn't different. It's just that the place I was in life allowed me to be more authentically myself. And so yeah, I want to chat about that really, and about how sometimes when we are true to ourselves, the people around us think that there's something wrong. Now, if I just take you back, I was a strange child. I was always a loner as a child. Very few friends, real friends, and I mean very few. And I would get tired of people very quickly. Now that sounds arrogant, and I don't mean it to. What I mean by that is, I would find it difficult and draining to be around them for very long, even as a child. School wasn't a particularly pleasant experience for me. In fact, I hated every day of it. And when I left school, it was like being let out of prison, to suddenly be able to join the adult world where I had some sort of say in kind of where I went and what I did and how much time I spent with people was wonderfully liberating. But of course then, like all of us, we move into the world of work, where again we are often having to work as part of teams, large groups. And I became a civil servant, where I stayed for all of my working life as a civil servant. And the roles that I had, because although that sounds perhaps quite boring to be a civil servant all your life, there are very many different roles that you can have within the civil service, different departments, different roles. And some of the roles that I had were very, like for years I was in learning and development, where I would be delivering learning interventions to groups of people and speaking at large conferences and things like that. And for someone who is a loner and who is not comfortable in large crowds, I wonder now how I was able to do that, but I was, and was relatively successful at it. It's like a mask that we put on, isn't it? A persona that we wear over the top of the real us, or the us that is more authentic. So anyway, stop drifting here. So my work life, I was kind of in quite public roles, but my social life was always very, very much smaller, very small group of friends, very little social activity, I guess. And I know for people perhaps looking on at my life, they would probably think, well, what a boring life he lives. But it didn't feel boring to me at all. It was what I wanted to do. And I found that after being in work and exposed to people all day, I would absolutely have to have that time in my non-working hours where I was more or less solitary, where I could be with myself, by myself, and I could kind of recharge and replenish myself in order that I could go about my business in work the next day. So of course over the years I was I was involved in relationships, and I didn't find that particularly difficult because I'm okay with small groups and ones or twos. So, you know, they came and went. But it was from the time that I no longer had to work that I noticed, you know, my true self coming to the fore. And there's a point of me telling you about this, and I will get to it. But since not having to get up and go to work and be with large groups of people, I've realised that I'm so much happier, you know, that when I go out and walk with my dogs, I can be in nature, when I can be lost in my books and my studies, in my own world of it being what I want it to be. And of course, since not having to commit such a huge amount of time to work, my spiritual development has been able to come more to the fore, and I've been able to be involved in things and learn about things and practice things that perhaps I didn't have time to when I was a career chap. And I know that not everyone is fortunate enough to be able to perhaps stop work right now. I'm very, very grateful for that. But to get back to the point of the video and Andulairah's video and how it links to me, Andulairah talked about, you know, when she's in the city, when she's in the busy places where there are people everywhere and noise and activity and franticness, the busyness of life, that she felt completely out of her environment. And that's exactly how I feel. It's like the noise of it, the energy of it becomes intrusive and draining. And not so long ago, I was finding, and I'm very, very grateful to have people who care about me and people who would want to spend time with me and would invite me to places and to do things. And I was finding that I was getting a lot of these invites. Come with us too, come and see, shall we go and do this, or do you want to come over, or shall I come over? And I was finding it difficult. I was finding it intrusive, draining, and I was very aware that I was having to constantly making excuses, or worse, saying yes, I will do this or go here, knowing that I didn't want to do that. So I thought, well, this isn't right and it isn't fair. So what I did, I put a message on my social media page which caused some upset, and I never intended it to. And I'll read you what I put. It's a quote by Henry David Thoreau, who said, and I thought it summed up how I was feeling so perfectly. He said, "I find it wholesome to be alone the greater part of the time. To be in company, even with the best, is soon wearisome and dissipating. I love to be alone. I have never found a companion that was so companionable as solitude." And I hope that that would explain to people that I was and I am happy in my mostly solitude. No, my what might seem like reclusive life. That is what I wanted, and that is my choice. But even then I found people saying, oh, if there's anything wrong and you want to talk, if you need to come over, if you want me to come over and spend some time with you. So even seeing what I put on my social media, they didn't understand. And if you were anything like me, and I think that perhaps there are more people like me than people would think, you gain your strength from solitude, from perhaps being in nature, being in a book, being in inner reflection. And whereas other people gain their energy and they gain their replenishment from being with other people, people like us don't. We find being constantly with people and in the noise and bustle of life to be depleting and draining, and we recharge by retreating within ourselves and into solitude. And if that is how you are, that's absolutely fine. It's okay to be like that. Don't let anyone tell you that there's anything wrong with you. If you are happy in a life of what seems to be mostly solitude, if you are happy, then it's fine. It's good and it's wholesome. If you are not happy being like that, then yes, take steps to try and change that, but don't feel there's anything wrong with you for being different to most people. And I don't know, I think people who, again, it's a sweeping generalization, so I shouldn't say it, but I think people who have spiritual interests and who want to connect with the world behind the world often are more introspective, more inner focused, more drawn to the mysteries of inner living and inner being than they are to the great social sea of the world. Anyway, if anyone's got any comments or any reflections or any insights, I'd be really happy to hear from you and see what you have to say. But meanwhile, I'm bang on in there with Andulairah, and do check out her channel if you're interested in the sorts of things that you see in my videos, because she's a great person and she knows so much. Anyway, great to chat with you guys, and I'll speak to you again real soon. Bye for now.